Hello, everyone. So I received a message from Jesus. Jesus spoke. There are many who were commissioned before the beginning of time, my love. Just as you recalled the moment you were filled with my spirit at your childhood church during a choir rehearsal, that was the moment that you were commissioned. Wow, Lord, that makes sense why I can never forget that occurrence and why I was so confused about it at the time. I know now what happened, but I'm guessing it was much more than that. Yes, it was. You were given more than just the ability to speak in tongues at that moment. During that moment, your heart was completely open to me, even though you weren't living a holy and submitted life at that time. In that moment, you opened your heart to me and showed the love that was present in your heart, even though it was still in its infant stages. All of those years you were grown in church were some of the most pivotal moments in your life. It may not have been a perfect church, and there were many who attended who were not truly for me. But as you know, I look within the heart to see who belongs to me. Yes, I understand, Lord. Was that when I was chosen to be a prophet as well? Yes, it was. But Lord, I thought you had to be living a holy life to be chosen for an office of that magnitude. No, not necessarily. Remember, I said your commissioning or assignment was appointed to you in the beginning of time. I always knew that I wanted to commission you to this place, even when you weren't fully submitted to me. That doesn't negate the gift and purpose I have for you. You have always been taught that it's men who appoint other men to different positions, and that is what I want to dispel in your mind. This is precisely why you struggle with your call and your purpose in many areas, because you know that there are many who doubt that you hear from me, and you believe that there should be witnesses who resonate with the words I give to you. There are those who resonate, but they are silent, and those you would never expect. They aren't the ones who have enough confidence to reveal their identities, and also knowing who they are will be a temptation for you to perform and could lead you in the direction of becoming a false prophet. Once you are commissioned for any position, no one can take away that commission. The commission can either be used for my glory or for the glory of the evil one. But once I declare it, it stands for eternity. So many of my children are not operating in their call and commission due to fear and the lack of validation from others around them. They don't realize that the lack of validation is a blessing and protection of the purity of their soul. My love, you will not have a lot of likes and views on the words you share from me, and that doesn't mean that people aren't listening. I am protecting the purity of your soul, and I want you to always continue to pray for the validation of others to be removed from your heart. This is something that still lingers and is why you have fallen so far behind in sharing your messages. Your doubt has overwhelmed you to the point of spiritual fatigue because you feel your messages don't have value. You are working for me, not people. I am covering you and protecting you from so much that I haven't shown you. Trust me and move. I want you to make every effort to catch up on sharing your messages over the next few days and put a pause on other business-related things temporarily. This is a priority, and these messages I've given you must be shared. This is why you feel so far behind, because in this area you are. I haven't allowed you to be fully at peace because this has lingered for far too long. I still cover you with my mercy and grace, but it's time to stop being afraid and move, beloved. This is your commission and call. Stop doubting and start trusting in me. Yes, Lord, please forgive my slothfulness and procrastination in this area. I will do better and make this a priority. I forgive you, my love. Now for my message today. Why did the chicken cross the road? To get to the other side? Lord, am I hearing this correctly? Yes, you heard that correctly. Stay with me, Dominique. Imagine there is a chicken in the middle of a busy intersection, and it appears to have come out of nowhere. Before it appeared, everyone was going to their different destinations, not thinking of much else. And then this chicken appeared completely out of place. Cars started to smash on their brakes so they don't hit the chicken and kill it, and in return, they end up causing multiple accidents of people being rear-ended because of the abrupt stops in the middle of the street. I want to also add that note, I mentioned that this was an intersection, so there were multiple stoplights. Wow, Lord. So why did people stop so abruptly if there were stoplights? Some people must have had red lights on their side of the intersection. Yes, they did, but the chicken was a distraction. And from that distraction, all of the rules and protocols that they knew to follow went out of the window, and it caused a chain reaction of chaos and destruction. Had they not gotten distracted by the chicken's presence, they would have noticed that there was already a red light on their side of the intersection, indicating for them to stop. They would have stopped properly and not abruptly hit the brakes, causing multiple accidents behind them and a trail of damage. The chicken was moving straight across the crosswalk and did not obstruct anyone's movement. Just the fact that it was in a place that was not known to be and distract just the fact that it was in a place that it was not known to be and distracted so many that they lost their knowledge at that moment. My loves, distraction is a delectable dish of the enemy, and with it, he brings so many people down to ruin. There will always be moments where things are thrown into your path that appear to be misplaced, but they are precisely there to distract you away from what you were taught to follow. Look around you on your phones, televisions, etc. There are many of these things placed in front of you to distract you away from the path and commission that I've given to each of you. So many of you are not operating in your commission because you're distracted, and very easily so. It doesn't take much to get you off track because your focus on me is not intact. It's on every worldly worry, care, and pleasure. Please understand when you are being baited into mediocrity, my children. The enemy doesn't want you to operate in your commission because he knows that will give you power in the kingdom of God, because you are moved and being led by my spirit to do many things. Catch these red flags and you won't be pulled from the path I laid out for you any longer. That was the end of Jesus's message. So it was a lot going on in that message. So, of course, it began, with the Lord just encouraging me. And as you can see from the date of when this message was given and when I'm posting it, I am extremely late with getting this up. And so God has been addressing me about this and addressing just what I've been struggling with. And so I'm glad that he encouraged me to share that piece. Because he talks to me a lot. He doesn't always have me share some of the personal things that he may say to me, but then there are times when he does want me to share it. And so this was that moment. And so I'm humbled, but in a good way, that even me, a person that he has chosen to be a prophet, can still have moments where I doubt and still have moments where I fall behind because of that doubt and because of just the fear, right? So I'm always praying for God to help me release that. So that is an ongoing thing. And I ask for you all's prayers as well for me in that area. And then he goes into sharing a really interesting analogy about the chicken who crossed the road, right? When I was hearing this, I was like, am I really hearing that? And I was hearing that correctly. And then when he started to explain where he was going with that, I was like, okay, I get it now. So it's all about distractions and diversions that are placed in our path, and how everything we learn goes out the window when a distraction comes in our way. And so we have to just be really careful, and that's myself included. Distractions can often get the best of me, and I have to find my way back. So we have to really be aware of when we are getting distracted and ask God to help steer us back on the right path, and just to help us to stay aware of those moments when we are getting distracted, because it happens a lot. We can't always avoid being distracted, but when it happens, we have to know that we have to turn to him and ask for help and guidance to get back on a straight and narrow path. So that is what he is sharing with this message, and just knowing that the enemy, he loves to deceive us and to put us in a state of distraction so we don't operate the way God is calling us to operate. So I pray this encourages you to seek God for where he's telling you to go, and to avoid distractions. And even when they come up and they appear before you, to divert away from them and to not get off track for where God is leading you in the path that He has you on. All right. God bless you all. I'll talk to you in the next message.